All right, just checking in from the Humdinger race out in Danville, PA. I just got done probably like half an hour ago, whatever it was. Well, maybe an hour ago now. It only took about an hour to run it. It started at 10. It's about noon now. Uh, it's a 8.1 mile course or a 4.3 mile course, depending on what you want to do. I did the 8.1. It's got about 1,428 feet is what I got elevation gain over the 8.1 miles. Well, I got 8.07 mileage, so 8.1 is pretty spot on. It's actually a pretty fun race if you ever want to get out and do a nice trail race. Come out to Danville, attempt it. It starts out through a cornfield. You're running down like I want to say like an access road where they just like cut the corn really low for the first 6/10 before you hit the woods. Then there's some nice uphill to start. I finished second overall. Matt Lipsy won. He actually got lost about a mile into the race, where the first split is between the two distances. He went up the pink route instead of like the green flag route. So at the time, second place actually called it out and said, "Hey, wrong way." I didn't know the course. I wasn't paying attention at the time. I was just following the two people ahead of me. So if second place didn't call it out, we all probably went the wrong way. So then Matt caught back up to us real quick. Actually kept him in sight probably for like 2 miles. Not close, but I could at least see him in the distance a little bit for the first couple miles. And then I finally lost sight of him. Me and second battled. Third battled, but he was in second place at the time for the first 3 to 4 miles, somewhere in that range. I remember he was, he had actually a good lead at one point, probably like maybe 10 seconds. Maybe a little less than that. I wouldn't really say 10 seconds, maybe like 5-6 seconds, because I could see him down over hill. He got me a little bit on this one decline. I wasn't worried because it was so early in the race and I didn't want to make a move yet, because at the start of the race I went out a little too fast, so I was trying to conserve some energy and pull back a little bit those first couple miles and save it for the end, because again, not knowing the course, I didn't really know what to expect. Even though I read the profile online at the time, I couldn't remember anything. So crap, what are you supposed to do? You just let the race itself dictate what you're going to do. So me and him were batting a little bit. I caught up to him a few times. A couple downhills he would take back off. I was like, go ahead, I don't want to trip yet. I'll let you waste some more energy, because you know where you're going. So I was just going to let him do all the flag work, so I didn't really have to use energy to pay attention or go the wrong way. Then as the two courses merged, probably I don't know, couldn't have been 4 miles, whatever the distance was. When we started catching up to like the other course coming in with us, we were starting to pass some people, and he was getting slowed down by them. Actually, the first 2 out of the first 4 people that was on the shorter course that I caught up to pass, I said, "On your left." And what did they do? They jumped to the left and actually like made me stop in my tracks. The one woman I actually bumped into, because I was like, "On your left." I even said it twice, and the second time she actually jumped to the left, and I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You get that screw you type thing. So I got a little bit of an adrenaline rush from that, because it just aggravated me, because I hate when people do that. I know not everybody knows what it means, but if you're going to do a trail race, if somebody calls on your left, they're coming on your left hand side, so you move to your right. So and then if they call on your right, you're supposed to go to the left when you're able to. You don't have to if it's like a crappy spot where there's no room, or you're going to get hurt if you step off, or even moving the side 6 inches. A lot of times, even if it's a double track, just the courtesy of us saying "on your left" as we pass, just so that way we don't startle you. It's one of those things I'll get into at some other point in a running video. But so anyway, I got slowed down a little bit. I called back up to the guy in second place right then. And then as we caught up, I saw there was like a group of 4 people ahead of him. And it's just that little like second or two that he had to slow down to get around them. I just made my move then, and just to see what he was able to do. And he went to the left, I went to the right of them, passed all 4 at one clip, got ahead of him by a second or two. Then from there, I led the rest of the way in the second place. Well, I didn't lead the race. I was in second place the rest of the way, leading him the rest of the race. He wasn't too far behind me for most of it, maybe 5 seconds again at the most. Like every time I'd turn around to like, you know, look, I could see him not too far. If I would have slowed up at all, he would have caught right back up to me like, bam. So I pushed a little bit. I felt great the whole race. I noticed on the uphills, I could gap him a little more, so I made sure I pushed a little bit more to use a little bit more energy just to try to burn him out or gain my lead on the uphill, because I would say we're pretty even on the flats and even on the downhill. Some of the downhill I was a little hesitant on, but he was flying a little bit more than it would go back and forth on the downhill. But the uphill is where I really made my move. Because again, I think on the flats we were pretty even. It was an awesome battle the whole race, to be honest with you. To me, it was a good competition between the two of us, feeding off of each other a little bit. It wasn't just like one was dominant over the other, but I sort of had that feeling that we were both pushing each other a little bit to go a little faster. Maybe not red line, but it was just, you know, between that race pace and the, you know, all out dead sprint type thing, like at least the last 4 miles. Trying to think. The course had a lot of like winding switchbacks that we did. At some point, it was kind of hard. There was like not enough flagging in some sections. There might have been like a good 50-60 yard like clip where you didn't see flags, and you're going around these turns, so you're like, oh crap, am I going the wrong way or not? And even this one spot, we were on the top of the hill, and all of a sudden there's flagging taking us like right through jagger bushes and stuff, and me and him both looked at each other. We're like, what's this? Like, we're on a trail, then all of a sudden we're going through like jagger bushes that go down over a hill. I mean, we did talk a little bit, you know, on the course, you know, friendly competition still, but we're just like, what's going on here? So that happened. That was probably about the middle of the course, give or take. At least what it felt like the peak height of the course. You know, maybe the top hill, maybe that was how they got us back down over the top quicker. Trying to think. I know there was a few bridges we came across and went over. They're, you know, your typical little wooden bridges, but these had like a mesh grating on them, I guess for bikes or something like that. I was worried a few times because you could see they weren't like tight on the wood, and I was afraid that like my shoe would get caught and trip me a little bit. Luckily, I didn't do that. There was probably 2 or 3 logs on the course or over the course that I jumped. I could just barely feel like my lugs on my shoes just graze it. The one, I'm lucky I didn't trip, because as I stepped the jump, I felt my foot sink a little bit into the ground, and that was the one I really hit my lug on the bottom. But I didn't fall or hurt myself. There was one downhill, 5.5-ish probably, into the course. It was probably like a 30-foot quick little descent, but it was so rock solid from the ground. You could tell it was like a muddy thing, but it was so rock solid from like the moisture and stuff from the last couple weeks. As soon as I stepped on it, this is like the first time I've actually like tripped in a race in forever. I actually fell on my ass and slid down the hill probably 15-20 feet, just because it was so hard and the ground wasn't given. Even with trail shoes, it was just like, just picture like maybe like wet cement or something like that, but on a slope, so you know you don't have that grip, you're just going with it. So I just went down. As soon as I got back up, guy behind me, I was like, danger zone, because you know what I mean? Because at the time, I don't know why I said danger zone. I never said danger zone. I usually like, hey, be careful or something like that, but I just yelled danger zone. Maybe it'll be my new thing. That way he knew as he was coming down, so he didn't fall. He stepped over a little bit, I noticed, because I looked back to see if he was, you know, going to make it down all right. You always want to check on people, you know, so they don't get hurt either. He made it down fine. There was one other section like that, but like from, we'll say like mile 5.5 to like 6.5 or something like that. There was those like a couple downhill switchback type things, but they were like rock solid. And there was a couple spots where it was just like icy. You actually had to step off the bank a little bit just to get your footing so you didn't trip. There was a loop, probably about that 6 mile range. There was flagging, like 4 flags on the right. We went down it. This was like right after an aid station you passed twice. We get about halfway through the loop. Here comes Lipsy the other way. And we're like, shit, he was right. But I guess we were right and he was wrong. But it's just like a loop. So it really didn't make a difference for any of us as long as we did the whole loop. You know, because it's just a loop. So you're coming back either way. Then we hit the aid station again. I think it's like 6.2 or something on the course map. And then you got it like a nice uphill where I made some nice time back up. It's not like straight up, but there's like, you know, slight uphill. Probably like 300 feet left in the course. So I knew that. So I tried to make my move with a couple miles left. I was like, you got to do it now just in case the guy has a kick. And then there was some field action where I looked back, like long looping field like curves, maybe like 30 feet of gain. Probably about 6.5 to mile 7 range. I looked back, he was getting farther and farther back. I don't know if he just gave up or what he was doing. So that gave me some breathing room. Then I guess when we came up to like the last part where the two courses meet again, I hesitated because I saw people coming downhill and I thought, oh shit, do I go up the hill or what are we going? It took me a couple seconds to realize it was basically, we intersected and then made like a straight. Took me a couple seconds to find that, and then I ran that. Then we came down, ran a couple tenths, and then we dropped back, like basically how we started, like back on a actual road real quick and hit the cornfields. But this time the cornfield was a different part of it, and we're actually running through more of a just cut cornfield instead of like where somebody actually drives through a cornfield. So there's a little bit rougher footing there. And then the last like 100 yards or something was just like a little bit of sloppy mess around the pig barn is what they call it, is where the race started and finished. Trying to think what else happened. There did seem to be a lot more people in the 4.3 than the 8.1, at least because I was passing a ton of people from the 4.3 course. Could just be like a mental thing, I don't know. But like again, there was a lot of loop switchbacks, like up and down hill, like long, not those quick switchbacks where you have to like, you know, turn your head side to side, but these were nice long looping ones, maybe like a tenth or something at the time. But overall the course was pretty fun. I actually really enjoyed it, and I didn't know what to expect coming out here. I left the house at 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning. I got up at 6. I was gonna stay last night down here Danville way, but $90 for a hotel with gas being up, I was like, we'll just red eye it, and hey, whatever happens during the race happens, because I've been wanting to do this race for a couple years now. It never worked out. I know the one year, I don't know if I signed up or not. I don't think I did, but I saw the week of, the weather was looking really crappy, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna risk driving 2.5, 3 hours down, you know, for a shitty course or shitty weather. So this year actually worked out pretty good. It's vehicle says 47 right now. It was probably 28 to 32 when we started the race. A little chilly, but I just wore compression 2XU shorts with some shorts over top, some 2XU calf sleeves, regular trail socks with my sea turtle gaiters. And then I just wore like a little bit of a thicker top, my Blake mitts, and a visor beanie. to get me through, because I figured once we were starting to hills or warm up, I was going to be too hot with anything else like my cutting weight. So I did that smart. I was pretty comfortable the whole race. I wasn't cold at all. A little sweaty near the end, but that's because we were pushing each other, but I really didn't notice because afterwards I changed probably within 15 minutes. I think what else to tell you. The food was pretty good. Let me see. They had some stuff like this, like turkey and cheese, or ham and cheese, chicken, or veggie. They had some hot chocolate, coffee. I forget what kind of beer that they had for people that were drinking. I didn't drink, obviously, since I don't drink. They had some chili. It was pretty good. I did have like just a scoop full of chili. I didn't want nothing major. It was a really good meatball inside that chili. But drank my coffee real quick and ate the chili, and then like instantly, like as soon as my body started I guess cooling down or getting back to the normal heart rate, bam, had to go to the bathroom real quick. So I grabbed my clothes, got in one of those handicap bigger bathrooms, and I just let one go, and I got some blue Porta-John water in my butt crack from it shooting out so good. But then I changed, and I was pretty good after that, standing there being warm. I watched maybe like 10 minutes people coming in, but they don't really do an award ceremony here. It's like, hey, when you finish, we'll give you your finisher award or the top overalls. They just hand them out right away so people can go home right away, because generally it is crappy weather this time of year. It's what, March 5th right now. The race is usually like the first week or two of March, so the weather, and it's usually cold. It's a little bit colder actually down here than it is home around New Florence. But again, if you want to do a fun trail race in the middle of winter, I still call it winter even though spring's a couple weeks away, check this one out. It's got a nice profile. It's not overly technical, but it's a good actual like trail race to even practice for some spring races. Again, but it's not easy. I got 1,400 feet of gain over 8.1 miles, so what's that? 100.5 or something like that, 200 feet. I can't do the math real quick. I'm not in that mode. So you're looking at a pretty good elevation gain for each mile. We'll say 150 to 200 feet of gain per mile on basically single track for the most part. Maybe a mile and a half is not single track. So take that into consideration. But it's a good training run. The people were really nice. It seemed well organized, and it seems like the area actually supports the race. So if you get a chance, come out and do it. I'm gonna head home since I got another 2.5, 3 hour drive to get home. Get some other things done today. I hope you enjoy this video, the recap. If I think of anything else, I'll post it later. Yeah, I think that's about it. Anyway, enjoy and have a good day, and I'll see you guys out there soon.